I don't
Oh,
know.
I have a question. Good morning, everybody.
Good
Welcome to Coffee
morning.
with Jen and Sharon.
How's everybody today? Tell us in the comments. We love when people comment.
Yes, we do.
Because then we don't feel like it's just Sharon and me talking to each other, which it would be fine, honestly. I mean, we do like that, but we like to have you.
To talk to everybody.
You do.
I do have a question, though, that I need to ask our viewers.
Okay,
and you, Jen.
Okay, I don't know what this question is. Full disclosure, so it's surprising.
So the backstory is yesterday, my son, who's a teenager, sent me this cute little video of ducks swimming right up my alley. And I pretended I didn't.
Was this a video he took or a video he found online?
Oh, no, it was a Twitter, something somebody tweeted. Okay. Very cute duck video. I'll share it in the comments later.
Please do.
So because of a previous exchange, I pretended I didn't like it because he pretended that he didn't like something I sent him. Whatever. So I pretended I didn't like it. And today he texts me back with a link to the fact that I retweeted it on Twitter. So he caught me.
He had receipts.
He knew that I did like it. And then I said, "Oh, thank you for following me." And he didn't follow me. And he said, "I'm not following you." So here's my question. My question is, do your children follow you on social media? Because I only have one who has social media so far, and he makes sure that he does not follow me, even though he's clearly looking at it, which is funny in its own right. But do your kids, well, your girls are older. They follow you on social media?
They do. And actually, this is really funny. A couple of my daughter's friends who live in New Zealand follow me on Facebook, and they tell her that I'm funny.
Oh. Well, that's
I think that's hilarious.
Letter of recommendation.
That's like the highest recommendation to me is somebody my kid's age says that I'm funny on Facebook. So
right.
I don't know. They might be laughing at me and not with me. Don't disabuse me of my notion. I just want to live in that glory.
There definitely was a time when I was getting made fun of by my son's friends too. Oh, totally. And if you're watching, hi guys.
Hi.
I'm glad you're here.
Okay, this relates to something we wanted to talk about today anyway, which is I want to tell you I just recently got totally busted on something I shared on social media. So some of you know that Sharon and I and the rest of the Year Teen gang, we're putting together this really phenomenal college summit that we want everybody to check out. If you have kids who are even remotely thinking about going to college, there's going to be some fantastic information in there. But that's a whole other story. What's related here is that to help promote it, I was looking through old photos to find things that might go with the concept of getting your kid ready for college. And I had a couple, like I have one at the back of our car that's packed with all of our stuff going to college. I have one of my daughter's freshman year dorm room after she first moved in, and it never looks like that again after day one. It's all perfectly set up. And they were very generic looking photos. They could be from anybody's college kid anywhere. And that was the point. But guess who saw it and totally busted me? She said, "Mom, did you post my dorm room on Twitter?" And I was like,
"Did you get in trouble for that?"
A little bit, because I didn't tell her. And she was so freaked out. She's like, "Who has my information? Who's posting my dorm room on Twitter?" And then finally she figured out, because it was just on the Year Teen Twitter account. It wasn't on mine. And I forgot she follows Year Teen because she interned for us.
Well, I have to admit that I am kind of taken aback. My daughters especially will do that to me. Like, "You didn't give me permission." I said, "Nobody knows it's you or your thing. It doesn't matter. You didn't ask me."
It's the back of your head. Nobody knows it's the back of your head but me. I mean, I don't share. I really am careful not to overshare with my kids.
But I give them credit. Because they're actually, they're right. It is their choice. And it makes me think, oh, maybe they'll be smart about their, because we worry about their online
they're way ahead of us on
reputation and all that, and whether they're going to make dumb mistakes. And they're thinking, I always get scolded. I feel like they're thinking it through more than we are sometimes.
Yeah, I definitely I had to own that one and apologize for not giving her a heads up, because I don't think she has any problem with it now that she knows. With it legitimately shared, and it wasn't like some creepy way that some algorithm picked up a photo that she shared.
Yeah, that would be weird. That would be jarring. It's just totally jarring.
Right. So anyway, we'll throw a link in there later so you can check out the college summit. But before your kids can get to college, the thing we really want to talk about today is we spend a lot of time making sure that our kids are ready academically to go to college, but we don't always do a great job of making sure they're ready to be at college and that they know how to do things like their laundry or phone in a prescription or, whatever it is that they might have to do once they're not under our roof. And Sharon and I were talking about this and realized that the pandemic has kind of thrown a wrinkle into it, because a lot of the things that we want to give our kids some independence on, they don't have. You can't send them out to do some of the things that they would normally do.
I think there's opportunities too, though.
Right. See, Sharon's the glass half full lady on this. I was like, oh my gosh, how is anybody doing anything like this? Tell us.
I had a conversation with a friend last night who also has a high schooler, and we were talking about the whole keeping up with assignments thing. Like, in some ways, they're not getting their hands held as much because they're not in the classroom where the teacher's saying, you have this due coming up. Like, they have to actually go check their Google Classroom or whatever, wherever they get assignments, or God forbid, their email. Like, one of my children missed emails about an assignment, and I was like, you have to learn to start looking at your email. And this child said that they are starting to look at their email. And we talked about this, I think, like, speaking of college, that's an important thing, that you need to check email in high school for college communications, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's really the primary way you will hear about anything that has to do with colleges, whether it's, application deadlines. That's how you find out if you got admitted to college, is you get an email. It's not like when we went, when you got either the thin envelope or the thick envelope and you knew right away. You actually get an email saying, watch, we're going to be announcing admittance. And so if you're not paying attention to that, you might not know that there's like a deadline that you have to apply for scholarships, for example.
Right.
There's some really, really consequential things that you could miss if you're not knowing that you've got to check your email. And I know kids out there are like, ugh, email is for adults. They want to tweet and they text and they like Snapchat and the immediacy of communication. An email feels very old school to them, but it is a skill. You have to know how to manage your email.
I have a shortcut, or not a shortcut, but like a way to incentivize your child to look at their email.
Is this a parent hack? Could this
be a parent hack?
Okay,
which I accidentally stumbled upon. I started sending recipes, like, for really yummy things, not like, I don't know, kind of like soft pretzels or whatever. Like, when I get an email in my inbox, like, I love those Smitten Kitchen emails.
Oh, yes.
She's so good.
All about those.
Everything she makes is so good. But, so she'll have something delicious sounding, and I'll like copy the link and I'll send it to all 3 kids. And then I know how soon they've looked at their email, because usually they'll respond and say, do we have the ingredients, or, whatever it is. So there's something appetizing literally in their email.
In it for them. Yeah, that's smart. I like that. That's a great idea. Yeah, I guess sometimes you do have to gamify things a little bit to get.
I didn't even do it on purpose. It just happened to work out that way. So
that's a good tactic. If you're listening this morning and you have other tactics or ways that you've tricked your kids into doing what they're supposed to be doing, we're all about that. So let us know.
I would also love the stories of the things that you didn't realize your kids couldn't do until they got to college, and then you got the call or whatever it might be.
Yeah, we'd like to hear about some of those too. I know that when we produced a college guide, and a couple of years ago when we were producing it, I sent this out to all of my friends who had kids at college, and I said, what text did you get from your kids? Because it's always a text. If it's a phone call, that means I need money. Anything else is a text. So I said, what text did you get from your kids in the first couple of weeks when they were at school?
This is fascinating.
It was great. Let me see if I even have it, because I want to tell you what's.
Well, while you're looking at, I always think, the classic is.
I got them.
Oh, there you have it already. Wow, you have it right at your fingertips.
I have it. We're in college, so yeah, it's all. So what were you going to say, Sharon, before I tell?
Oh, I was going to say the classic is always laundry, but I just don't think laundry is that hard. I mean, it's a few buttons. They can probably YouTube it now. Like, there's certain things.
Yeah, they could if they wanted to, but they won't.
If they wanted to, but they're probably just going to like put the stuff in and push the buttons, and it's not like they're scrubbing on a, using a ringer and using a washboard and
No.
mixing the
Okay, I
lye or whatever they used to do.
Okay, so here are some of the texts that
Yeah.
mostly these are people I know whose kids sent these, so these are for real. These are not made up.
Okay.
My favorite, and it may or may not have been me who received this one, is, did you change the Netflix password? Okay, everybody I know got that one. I like this one. How do I deposit a check? That's something that you
Yeah.
can definitely show your
You know,
kids.
Jen, that's something that we have to learn now too, because it's changed, or at least during the pandemic.
You
Like,
do it on
you
your
used to
phone.
use the ATM,
Yeah.
but either way, they still need to learn to sign, like endorse
You
the
have to
check.
understand what it means to sign it, where to sign it, and how to get it into their account, all that. So that's a good thing. I like this one. What do I ask for when I get my hair cut? I'm thinking this was
Aw.
probably a boy who asked this one. Like, he's
Aw.
not used to arranging his own haircuts. Mostly, I think girls, they have stronger opinions about it by this point.
Well, my kid, I think you might be right, because when my son has gone in, they'll ask like what number attachment he uses.
Oh, right. They have to know.
Yeah, like how close the clippers go.
Yeah, the clippers, yeah.
And yeah, they don't pay attention, or maybe they even get a cut at home.
That's
So
what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that was what this one was about. I liked this one. Alarmed me a little bit. Somebody texted, "What is my blood type?" I was like, why do they need
where
to
did that
know?
come from?
But that's something else. We have to teach our kids how to be responsible for their healthcare management, and they might not have had to
Do
know
you
those
know
things.
your kids' blood types?
I do, only because that made me have to go look. I was like, oh, I know one of them has the same as mine, so I know that. The other one
Right.
doesn't, and I had to go check. So, but that also is like, at some point your kid has to memorize their social security number because you need it for so much. They kept asking me, they kept texting me, what is my social security number? And I finally said, I'm not going to tell you. You have to figure out a way to memorize it. This is absolutely required in your life. You'll need it all the time. And also, it's a pain for me to go find it every time you ask me. So you need to know.
We don't have it memorized. You know who else doesn't have mine memorized? My spouse. Guess who has their spouses memorized? I do.
Yes.
So I know
same.
2 people's.
Right. Exactly.
It's such a
I think
classic
that's
thing.
because I don't know if it's true for you, but like my health care benefits are linked to his work. So everything is tagged to his social. Oh, I think Sharon froze. Did I lose you, Sharon? All right. Well, I'm waiting to see if Sharon comes back to life. I'll tell you a few more great ones that I got. What's a routing number? That also was related to, oh, you're back. Good.
I thought it was you. I switched Wi-Fi.
It could have been me too. All right. So one of us, we don't know.
And go ahead, I'm sorry.
One more was, this one also alarmed me a little bit. What info would I need if I got into a fender bender? Like, hypothetically speaking.
That's both a very good proactive question. Worrisome because it might have already happened. Like they might be on the side of the road doing it. But also, I guess it's good they haven't had one before.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know.
And that might not be so unusual because I think kids are really learning to drive later. And that is one of the things, too, I wanted to point out that you can do during a pandemic. You can take your kid out and teach them how to drive. It might even be a better time because the roads are less crowded in some places. And I think I'm a big advocate of having your kid learn to drive while they're under your roof. Not waiting so long, because if they haven't driven that much and then they're off at college and they don't drive that much at college, they don't have that opportunity to really burnish their behind the wheel skills. So that would be a really good one to put on your list for.
Have I shared, Jen, that I have one that's eligible for a permit next week, or temps, whatever you people call it in this state?
No, he is.
Yes, my oldest. So he's gone parking lot driving a couple of times with my husband.
That's great.
Which is kind of funny because the younger teenager is up in arms. She's sure this is illegal and they shouldn't be doing this. They shouldn't be going to the parking lot and driving.
Did she turn them in?
She did not turn them in yet.
Okay, good.
Maybe she's holding back so that in case she changes her mind when it's her turn to go parking lot driving.
You're right. She might want to rethink that. Well, my favorite place to take our kids when they got their permits and they could, get behind the wheel, but they weren't really ready to get out on the road, we took them to the local cemetery because there's lots of roads in there that you can practice making right turns, left turns, stops, and there's really nobody much in there during the day, and there's nobody you're going to hurt. So,
is this? That's true. That's terrible. Is this the hilly one that I'm thinking of? The big hilly one?
This one's not too hilly.
Okay, we're thinking of a different one. Okay. It would be good if you did.
I know which one you mean. That one I would. Yeah. That's advanced. Start at the basic one, then move up to the hilly one.
The hilly one actually would be a perfect place if you were learning stick shift. Did you learn stick shift, Jen?
Okay, true story. I bought a stick shift car without knowing how to drive it. It was across town, and my dad drove me over to pick up the car. I mean, I had driven one like a handful of times, so I thought I knew how to drive a stick. I didn't really know how to drive a stick. But no better way to learn than by doing, right? And I remember, I bought this car with my babysitting money. It was a pretty old car. I think my dad threw in some bucks to make sure that it was actually roadworthy. And then we went to buy this car from some people across town. And I said to my dad, I said, okay, well, I'll follow you home. And he goes, nope, I will follow you. And I was like, darn it. So painful. I mean, I popped the clutch 80 times on the way home. And I want to tell you this story. My dad, best parenting moment ever. He never said to me, let me show you how to do this. You're doing it all wrong. He waited until I came to him and said, Dad, can you give me a few pointers? I can't figure out how to get up a hill when I'm driving stick without the clutch. And he said, sure, I'd be happy to. And then he took me out and taught me how to ride the clutch a little bit and how to ease it out. He never did a thing about it until I asked. And
that's very restrained. Is that because you were the youngest child and he was all wise by then
and worn out probably too?
Yeah.
No, he was. That was like such a moment of parenting wisdom, and I will never forget it. And I try my best to employ that when there's no danger involved. I mean, okay, there's a little bit of danger when somebody's driving, but I was mostly sticking around the neighborhood. It's really great to let them struggle a little bit, and it's really awesome if they can come to you and say, you know what, I thought I knew how to do this, but I kind of really don't. Can you help me?
Yeah.
If you can manage to stick it out that long without jumping in there and saying, you're doing it all wrong. That's
a tough balance.
Advanced parenting right there. So
yeah, we had a cake making issue the other night, but I was not involved at all. Apparently we were out of cocoa powder, but there was a great desire to make a chocolate cake that night, and decided that they could try to use hot chocolate mix instead of cocoa powder.
How'd that go?
There was Googling involved. I don't know. Apparently, I don't know. The cake has a big divot in the middle, but apparently it tastes delicious. And the frosting came out runny, but also delicious. So
okay,
it was fine. It's just a cake. Those opportunities, that's a low stakes thing where they can just trial and error, see how it goes.
Absolutely. I'm all for that. So we'd love to hear about what your pandemic times opportunities have been for teaching some life skills. I happened to notice when I got on with Sharon that there's a Swiffer in the corner of her bedroom.
Oh my gosh.
Sharon. I don't know. They probably
can't see it because I have some weird shadows going on, but Jen was able to when I first got on. I said, oh, should I move that? And she said, oh no, that's, it was actually, now that you mention it. So this was from a child who was supposed to Swiffer the bathroom floor on the weekend. Okay, I know it's Wednesday and it's still in the bedroom, but the Swiffer required instruction. It's like one thing. I'm like, can you just sweep? Well, I don't know how to do it. I'm like, well, then I realized you have to. It's not necessarily intuitive. Like, how do you get the little wrapper thing? Because we don't use a lot of those, but we have this counter that you can't get the vacuum under. So I had to instruct, this is how you push the Swiffer wrapper thing in. and this is how you do it. And then how do I get it off when it's done? And I'm like, well, you just pull it off. Ew, gross. But
who among us has not had all those same thoughts? But you suck it up and you do it, because you got to get the dust bunnies out from under the couch, and that's the only way to get them.
All right, let's let our friends go, and please tell us all the things. I want to know if your kids follow you on social media because they like you better than mine likes me, and we want to know what your kids are doing or not doing, or learning to do. We want to hear it all.
Yes, tell us everything,
and we'll share the links. We'll share the links for all the things.
Yes, I'm sure I have some really great articles about life skills too. So that would be good to share. We'll share about the college summit because we want our kids to be ready to go to college.
There is a whole life skills session with
Oh yeah,
we didn't even say that, with Julie Lithcott-Hames, who's the author of
phenomenal.
How to Raise an Adult. She's amazing.
She is.
And there's someone else really good in that session as well.
Yep. And don't forget, Sharon is also going to share the duck video that her son sent her. The duck video.
Oh, the duck video, of course. I will post the duck video.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. Have a good day, everybody. See you next time.
Bye.